Zach Hyman makes his return on the ice, and Gene Principe makes his return to Game Keys as the Edmonton Oilers continue their 7-game road trip here in Raleigh against a Hurricane squad that is playing in the second half of a back-to-back. But before we get to the Carolina Hurricanes, let's talk about number 18. With a guy like Hyman returning, Gene, in how many different ways does his return impact the Edmonton Oilers on and off the ice?
Well, I think everywhere.
Yeah.
On the bus, at the hotel, in the workout room, in the dressing room, on the power play, at even strength, on the bench, and I might even be forgetting some possibilities for Zach Hyman. I think when you look at Zach, you think back to his 50-plus goal season, 70 goals that year with the playoffs. So that's kind of the number, or his numbers stick out. But this is one of those guys that I think his leadership is not underappreciated, but maybe people don't understand how much of a leader that he is. But some of the things that we get to see and we get to hear make us know that he is a leader. And whether he's got a letter or not, I think he's a prime example that you don't need an A or a C on your jersey to be part of the core of the Edmonton Oilers. So there's that unbelievable human. So you get a guy like that back around your team and with your team. It's one thing to be on the road and you're not going to play. It's different when you come on the road knowing that you will. So finally it's here. I'm sure Zach is excited, unexpected maybe that it would be this long of a wait, but I think when you're talking about an injury that was serious, that you really, really want to be safe as opposed to sorry. So it's been a wait. It's game 20 of the season. And Zach Hyman returns. Fantastic news.
Yeah, a quality human and a quality player. 144 goals in the regular season since joining the Edmonton Oilers back in 2021. Now, the Oilers power play, they haven't scored in 3 games. 0 for 5 during that stretch. So number 18 will certainly have an impact on the man advantage as well. Now let's shift over to the other side, the left wing on that line, because he's playing with Connor McDavid and Matt Savoie, who's going to get a continued look alongside the best player in the world. A certainly deserved look for number 22.
Yeah, I think at this point, there's one thing when you start a season and you start floating people all over the place because you want to see if there's a match, if there's a fit, and that makes total sense, especially when you have players that you haven't had on your team before, like Matt, who had just a small sample size last year. But then you get to the quarter point of the season, which is where we'll be after tonight, and it's not really about that. It's about earning the opportunity to play in your top 6 on a team like the Edmonton Oilers, and I mean Matt's done it. It's a wonderful story. The Oilers have some local flavor to their team with Stuart Skinner and Brett Kulak and now Matt Savoie, and I love it. I mean, here's a guy that probably has been told 101 times, maybe you're not big enough, maybe you're not strong enough, maybe you're not this, maybe you're not that. And he's just taken that and used it as inspiration and motivation. And here he is playing with the best player in the game and earning it, not just being put there, but playing so well that the coach is going, you're staying on our number 1 line.
Yeah, I know it might be a smaller stature, but he plays big in the corners, doesn't he, Gene? He comes out with the puck more times than not, and he'll have to play hard against this Carolina Hurricane squad that is 17-2-4 in the second half of back-to-backs on home ice since 2022. I think that's a testament to the fitness level headed by Rod Brindamore, especially.
Rod the Bod.
Rod the Bod. Yeah. I've never actually heard that before.
Yeah, that's what they call him, Rod the Bod. Yeah, from when he played
for
Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, he's he's no dumbbell, even though he lifts them quite easily. And so I agree with you 100%. I mean, Chris Knobloch's in good shape, for sure. And
see him in the gym all the time.
Yeah, many of the NHL coaches, that's probably a stress reliever for them. But if your coach might be the fittest guy on the team, you know that the rest of the team's going to be fit. Carolina have had a ton of injuries, as you know, Tony. And, they're just like, they're like a good to really good team every season. And they're always kind of in the mix to be a team that could make it to a cup final or make it to a conference final. And this building, obviously there are some memories in this building, some good, but the last one was bad in Game 7 of the almost 20-year ago
Unfortunately,
Stanley
the banner
Cup
is
final.
right behind us.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I think, when I think of it too, I think of the great run that was. that was unexpected.
Yeah.
There was no McDavid. There was no Draisaitl. There was a Pisani. There was a Pronger. There was a Rolison until he got hurt. It was wonderful, until the end.
Yeah.
But boy, I think that invigorated a new set of fans, because 1990, the last Cup final that they were in and won, 16 years later, that's a big amount of time. And so I remember my kids, they were young and they didn't really know about the Oilers, but everybody jumped on the bandwagon. As we've seen nowadays, everybody's more expecting long playoff runs. So yeah, it was a great time, and Carolina's a tough opponent for Edmonton because of the shape that they're in the standings and on the ice.
Yeah, especially at 5-on-5 as well, because 87% of the Carolina offense has come at even strength. Third best team in terms of even strength goals so far in this campaign. Third best in goals per game. I mean, a lot of offense, a lot of weapons here, but the Carolina Hurricanes might be without both Seth Jarvis and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who both went out last night against the Vancouver Canucks, albeit they did win with Sebastian Aho scoring with 30 seconds remaining in overtime. That's really going to be the key for the Edmonton Oilers. 5-on-5 play. What do you need to see from the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, I mean, we know they got it. It to me is one of those underlying stats that kind of makes no sense to me, because 5-on-5, I look at this hockey club and I think that they should and will be amongst the tops in the league. Right now, it doesn't seem to be there. 5-on-5, I know that Coach Knobloch before the Columbus game had felt like they were better defensively, and he felt like that would lead to more offense. It was a tiny setback versus the Blue Jackets despite an incredible run, and I thought Roslovic was going to get a chance to tie Andrew Cogliano for 3 straight overtime winners, which would have been amazing. Didn't quite get there, but there's a saying, you can't keep a good man down, and I don't think you can keep a good 5-on-5 team down forever. So any time is the right time for them to get going at even strength like that, and why not tonight? And I think it's like a player who gets on a hot streak after being cold. I think the Oilers, when they start finding really that 5-on-5 game, that it'll just roll from one line to another along with the defense pairings, and they'll get back to kind of the levels that we're accustomed to.
Either way, it should be a very exciting matchup here tonight between the Edmonton Oilers and Carolina Hurricanes. Welcome back Zachary Martin Hyman to the lineup on the top line alongside McDavid and Savoie.